Hey, thanks for joining me. It's a beautiful day here in Flat Rock today. Beautiful day weather-wise anyway. Not a beautiful day with respect to my rutabagas. So we're now, it's July the 12th, and we're partway, a good chunk of the growing season is now over. And my rutabagas were actually going really, really great, and the leaves were, nice and big. Really big leaves on them. Anyway, they started wilting in the sun, which I thought was kind of funny, given that we had only just had rain. I thought, well, maybe the roots are just soaked. So one of them looked really floppy, so I decided to pull it. And to my surprise, I got this. That's pretty horrible. Anyway, so as much as a lot of things go really, really well here at the homestead, this year my rutabaga crop has failed, and it's all because of clubroot. So I had seen this before on this section of ground, but it wasn't that, it didn't really affect things that much. But this year, so last year I didn't plant brassicas in here, but this year I decided to do it again. And I prepped my rutabagas beforehand. I made sure that the soil was warm, that that I was kind of a little bit beyond that stage where I'd expect to see the root maggot, which is usually mid-June. Kept the row covers on, keep the soil shielded from insects and whatnot. And I planted them, and they grew really, really well until the temperature picked up. And I started to notice, like I said, this floppy leaves and wilting in the sun, which is usually an indicator that something's on the go. That there is clubroot. So I just lost about probably 35-40 rutabagas, which was basically the whole kit and caboodle of rutabagas that I had for storage in the cellar this winter. Clubroot is a fungus-like disease, and it's spread by zoospores, and the zoospores kind of swim around in wet soil, and they infect the roots and cause them to swell, and that changes, I guess, the physiology of the plant, and eventually, the plant doesn't do well. And it can lead to all kinds of other problems too. The roots can start to rot, and the rot can, proliferate up through the rutabaga. So in any case, I pulled every one of them. They're all gone. My beds, now that I had them in, are all pulled. And the question is now what to do next. So I had 2 large beds of these, and like I said, they were going really, really, really well, but now I have none. So this is how quickly things can turn when you're growing your own food. Now, am I worried? Well, not really. I can still get some. There are lots of people around that are local that are actually growing rutabaga. But of course, it's one of these things that I was already self-sufficient in, that now I'm not sure I'm going to be self-sufficient in. So what's my plan? Well, I know that clubroot affects brassicas, and it's a disease, at least this type is specific to brassicas. So I can probably put something in here that's non-brassica, and it'll do fine. So I may move actually my lettuces to here, and the section of ground that I have over here with the lettuces and fennel and all that stuff in it, I may actually end up using that for my rutabagas. So it's already July the 12th. Getting these guys started this late now means that I'm not going to end up with really, really, really big roots, but I could potentially still end up with something big enough that I can harvest and put in the cellar for winter. So am I upset? Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty upset. I mean, things, you know, as much as you try to do things right, when this happens, you know, there's it's a bit of a setback. And you know, you were already self-sufficient in it, and now you're not, and it's not a good feeling. So but I mean, at this point, what more option do I have but to move forward? So my clubroot infected rutabagas, curse you clubroot, which are now useless, are gone, and I need to plant out new ones. Okay, so what am I going to do with this material? Well, my understanding is that the zoospores can infect other soil, and I do have quite a few other brassicas growing. In fact, over here, just behind, I have 2 varieties of cabbage, which, you know, I hope I don't get clubroot in. The soil pH was fairly high in those beds. I think it was sitting somewhere around neutral, which supposedly is supposed to be better, I think, for the transmission of clubroot. But I don't want to infect anything, so I just have them piled here for now. And I think I'm going to get some garbage bags and cut the roots off, and the greens I'm going to hot compost. The hot compost should get rid of any residual zoospores. I would hope that they could be destroyed by heat. I will look that up before I actually do anything about it. But yeah, so that's it. My brassicas in this bed have been decimated by clubroot. So this is the bed here that I use for lettuce and kind of beets and fennel and kind of extraneous things that I grow, but I don't need really, you know, dedicated covered beds for, like I use for my brassicas down right here, which you can see now these beds are empty. So I guess that I'll try to see if I can recoup the season by planting some more rutabagas and just see what I get, I guess. I'm not going to let the clubroot take me down.